I know it's Monday. Okay. So we'll just wait a few minutes to let more people join and then we'll get busy. They're on screen. No.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mm. Morning, everyone. I know it's Monday and everyone's probably have a long list of travel and holiday things to do. So we appreciate you joining us. Um, we're gonna have a quick updates and okay, I got it. So if you don't mind, type your name and where, even though I can see it, what company or what division you're from. Um, so we know. I have my colleague Ray helping me here.
Hello.
So we will be getting busy. So today, let me just do a quick intro. I'm for Somali. I wear many hats. Today I'm wearing Isuroon CEO, but the best job I love is being a community organizer. That's what I started with my life, and that's the best job I love. And we're talking about what's happening. So many families are in crisis, as you have known this for a while now. And the reason we're doing this meeting today is we've got been receiving so many people from Minnesota, nationally, from the legal, from foundations, from regular Minnesotans and Americans of what they can do, how they can help. And the biggest confusion that we hope after this meeting today to address is everybody thinks rapid response for all immigrants and all refugees are the same. And so we wanted to do cultural responsive model for Somali families. And so that way you will understand how to help and what you can do. And so one of the issues that we need to address is everyone wants to know your rights. And we're like, that's a perfect thing to know to do. And so majority of Somalis, as you've been hearing from the news, we came in here with documents. Some of us have been resettled by refugee resettlement agencies, like myself, who came in as asylee. I came in having my I-94 after I, landed in LA, somewhere LA, I think 26 years ago. And coming to Minnesota, the rapid response I needed was I came in February 2000, November 99. And my rapid response needs were a place to stay and a winter boot and a ESL class to go. And thank God someone helped me get those, which I'm grateful still. And then the refugees who came in with, refugee resettlement set them in. they had navigation. They found a home, however temporary or lousy that is, and they've been hosted, they got their food stamps, and they got settled. Therefore, right now with this crisis, many people are like, well, how come you don't have a rapid response strategy? And I'm like, we don't. Our rapid response was very basic needs. It's not like our brothers and sisters, the Latino community that have been under attack for a while, and they really have incredible system that have been built. We don't, so we want to make sure that we're not expected to have similar strategies because we came from a different way in America, even though we're all under attack right now. So, so we provide many of our friends again know your rights. When know your rights are delivered, many of our members go into a panic attack. There's a huge illiteracy. Some are still immigrants, and some are still figuring out what is the best way to navigate. And so families are calling, they're coming in, they have paperwork, and so delivering the information is not enough. And what that does, we've seen so many triggers, worries, cries, people quitting their jobs. So know your rights, even though it's a perfect way to start, it's not helping our community alone, and that's why we want to address this. Please write your name and introduce yourself so then your colleagues can see it, and then we'll have Q&As afterwards. Then there is again, if you worked with immigrant population, language barriers, the cultural illiteracy and the system illiteracy is huge. Our community, they have many, many, many strengths and assets. Being oral society is a huge asset for us, but it also can be very devastating because the wrong information can be spread out, and then it puts our families in jeopardy. And we don't have consistent communication strategy again that can tell our families don't go left, don't go right, because they need to come in an in-person service. Again, everything now being done virtual, everything is being really streamlined. That helps those of us who are more educated in the system that want to have hundreds workloads that can do that. But it's still being culturally specific and person-centered, community-centered means really we need to meet families where they are, and we meet them with just like in-person services. And then the misinformation is also some families have been asked to pay 15,000, some have been asked 10,000. There's so many conversations going on where right now some of the families are paying money for food. They're doing a lending circle or collecting, families are putting money together to defend their loved ones. And so we want to prevent that, and we want to make sure that while you're wanting to try to help families, some of them could be into going into a jeopardy on that. And then I what we're looking at right now is a significant amount of the newer Americans. When I arrived to Minnesota, like I said, 26 years ago, I could barely speak English. I had skills. I worked in a healthcare as a volunteer, I worked in hospitals, so I knew what to do in terms of blood draws, taking care, caregiving. I knew what to do. Um, that was the difference. The newer immigrants that are right now coming in, they're technology savvy. They speak, majority of them really, really, really speak. I'm talking about the below 30 generations that are right now coming in as refugees, at least the Somalis that I know. Majority of them got green card and they're working on disability services. Some of the factories, I would say 90% of them have left jobs and now they're sitting home, which means income is lost. We have to deliver food. Some of the jobs, even though they're really trying to be supportive and say you have a green card, ICE is not going to come take you, they will not listen. And we have also families who actually have the passport that are that are worried, that are staying home, minimizing any activities, which is increasing PTSDs and all that stuff. And one of my friends was telling me, well, you have a green card, you have a whatever you have, ICE is not going to touch you. And I say, you don't understand. Well, you've lived in refugee camp 20 or 30 years, and you're the only breadwinner for your whole family. You don't have the privilege to ICE find you and take you back where you came from. That's a privilege that majority of us don't have. So you have to understand having documentation doesn't make you go free. And that is one of the takeaway today. You may have the passport, you may have everything you need, but the fear and the worries that if ICE catches you, who's gonna come after you? It's because many of us are the only breadwinners for their families, even though we support one another as a community. But you're going to work, ICE catches you, and they put you somewhere. Nobody's gonna follow you because you're the only person for your whole community that right now in Minnesota. Um, and then that also translates into the kids who, again, majority of them were born here and some of them came here. So I want you to understand the gravity of the fear that whether you have green card or I-94 or passport, the side effect that it has in it traumatizing our families is critical. And it's not something that majority of us who are sitting on the 25th floor can really fathom or that kind of a thing. And then navigation again, what Isuroon does is really navigate. We do because what we don't do is actually short versus what we do. We do everything our families want because we understand poverty and system navigation and illiteracy is part of the reason many families sit on the ground. And so every one of us, whether you have a PhD or you have a high school degree, at Isuroon is required for you to do the navigation. And so flyers is being everyone has this beautiful flyer, know your rights. I'm like, which audience are you doing this for? You're right now, if I look at this flyer that says here's what you do, I'm designing the flyer for myself because I'm the one who's designing. But if you want to work with an immigrant who maybe have a language barrier or maybe not even sitting around, this flyer is irrelevant. You might not waste your money and your time. How you then it's done that what we want to do or been doing it is getting the navigators, but navigators could be anyone. But language acts is not just interpreting a legal support. So we need to do a one-stop shop where some of the attorneys that have been reaching out now, they understand what needs to be done. So we're creating a collaborative that everyone does their own piece. So then 25%, 10%, then this family or this individual that is in trouble or is paralyzed by fear gets the support they need to thrive and move out of the fear that they're in right now. So then how do you do person-centered? Everybody talks about person-centered, but it's practically culturally specific. We have families that come in that are not Somali, some of them African Americans, some of them even white Americans who come in for the housing eviction programs. We serve them. We understand, yep, you're not Somali, you don't need a Somali language. You don't need this, but understanding how may I serve you is what person-centered is, at least how I interpret. So uh, understanding the culture. Some of you may not want to do that because you are skilled. If it's like 25%, we'll do this 25% of the getting the forms, building trust, making sure that our families are safe. And we bring you in to your, space. Hopefully you'll be here on a designated space and you're completing your 25%, which is so, so critical. We don't want you to do all the hard work, other work. You're still hard work, but you'll do the perfect completing the work that we're doing. And so we address the trauma, language barriers, and also basic needs. Right now, our food shelf used to have over 300 families per week. Right now, we barely have anything. I think last week they started, our seniors came in and then excuse me, and then now they retrieved. So we're delivering dry goods, we're delivering meat to our families, we're calling them. We have large population of young Somali men and women who quit their jobs or right now unemployed and they were talking about us being on welfare. And by doing this, they put us, many of our families back to the welfare. That's really interesting. And then, so what is the collaboration? You may say, well, what can I do? When some of my friends were, our allies were asking, what can we do? I think immigration attorneys, civil rights attorneys, paralegals and navigators and interpreters, we need a space for all of us to come together and, mm, excuse me, so we can, oh, get distracted. So as an attorney, what can you do? Once we develop the circle, we identify, attorney so and so or team legal A are specialized in civil rights attorney. We have many of our families who actually have green cards or have I-94 who have passports who have been harassed. They're not going to come forward and say, I want to get my rights from ICE. That's the last thing they will do because they don't trust the system. They don't even want to go through the hustle to go and sue government. Our families and our people, they're not gonna bother government. They just want to be safe and get busy on their livelihood. Immigration attorneys, like some have been reaching out to us, we'll figure out a schedule where we have like say, hey, every Monday or every Tuesday from this hour to this hour, we're gonna be at Isuroon or assigned location where where we can come and deliver. We may have, Israel may have 10 or 15 family members that we've done documentations, got all the paperwork done, all the language barrier done, everything done, and then the attorney is there to complete the piece that we're not able to do or we don't have the experiences. Paralegals who speak Somali or speak other languages will be amazing because they will be able to help us. What's going on, guys? Help us to do the what needs to be done, just to navigating the system. What are the forms that we need to do? And here at Isuroon, I think it's about 29 of us. I would say 20 of us speak Somali. And even though we rather not to interpret, but if we have to, we can. We used to have a legal aid clinic here years back, even though now it's not there. Some days when the interpreter is not here, I used to interpret myself. So, like again, I said, we'll do what we need to do to make sure that our families get the work they need. Also, as a legal team or as a helper, will make sure you do what you need to do in the easiest and fastest way to deliver value to our family. And then all of us coming together, it will require that we learn from each other. It require giving ourselves a grace. And then you learn not only how to serve immigrant population, but also you go out and help our Latino families, help the Afghan families, help future immigrants who are going to be kicked around by the guy. I don't want to mention his name here. And then so we have developed a process, like SOP process that we're going to share when we find out who wants to be on this circle. We'll do our families will come up, we'll teach them about know your rights, navigators. We'll do have Isuroon has a model where everything is triaged. There's stabilization and there's outward mobility. That's how Isuroon does everything that we do. Therefore, we already have a process in place. We're grateful we have locations in Burnsville. We're here in Minneapolis, and there is a space in Roseville. So based on what location that has the highest, right now the biggest need, obviously, here is in Minneapolis space. And then, we'll collect data, we'll do reports. If someone is in jail or is in ISIS place, we'll have to get a rapid responses. And so this is really what we're offering in terms of what we need to do. Right now, families, what's happening is there someone saying, oh, attorney A has a space to take on, and then they got put on the list They pay hefty fees, or it's a volunteer base, but they're on the referral. This company or this attorney firm, they have a good heart to do a good job, but they have zero Somali speaking staff. The interpreting languages could be, I don't know how that's happening. So many families right now who even able to pay fee are coming back to us and saying, I've been on a waiting list for a while. No one is talking to me. And we as a Isuroon team, we understand. This is an emergency crisis. There are not many Somali attorneys are doing the best way they can. But this is a new crisis that needs more than staffing. That's required on all community to come together. And last but not least, one of my biggest worry and our worry is our families are going into poverty. There are many people who are quitting their jobs. I've been going to Carmel Mall just to see how it is, and it is incredibly a ghost town right now. So what is the end result for where we want to go here? It's really families who are feeling safe. I don't know how to explain when someone is in fear, the idea of fear in an immigrant, or I think every one of us have gone through fear, but the fear of not belonging, the fear of I've been in refugee camps and I've done everything I can to be a good citizen, to be a human being. I don't feel safe. It's I don't even know. I've been citizen almost 20 years or 18 years. I'm like, take me back if you want to, but for God's sake, stop treating our people the way you're treating. So the work we're doing and the ask we're asking, the number one thing is really addressing this fear of you've been caught, you've been sent home, and you don't know where you're going. Legal services, we want them to be addressing that fear, create a workflow that everybody does their piece. And I know this is a lot. Many companies like ourselves, were very lone wolf type. We work with our collaboration with our communities, but many of the bigger mainstream institutions, Isuroon doesn't work, doesn't collaborate because for many reasons. We're very laser focused on doing our families in 100% way. And some people are so smart, they only focus on their 20 or 30%. Therefore, there's a disconnect. And my hope is that we can work on and figure out what is the best way to collaborate and work together. We will figure again, like we created, how is this going to happen? We want to, after we finish this, we'll have a couple more expertise who will talk about different areas and get us updated. But everyone is going to have a role. We're going to navigate, coordinate, and then I think everyone is going to feel good about this. Again, it's self-evident people need to really feel safe, and feeling unsafe is just terrible. I don't even know the public health impact that it has already in our community. There are some of us that are on the ground right now checking in. The fact that our seniors are not even coming to get the food that they really love monthly, that's raising alarm to us. So we are on the ground checking in, not on the media. Our team are not on the media. We're really digging down on the ground, being available for our families and our team. And that's what we're doing. Before questions, we get into, I think, any questions, then we can get our panel, or what you call it. Ray, can you share the other one? I just went through the flyer so fast, so anyone has questions?
Good morning, Fortune. This is Stephanie at United Way. How you doing?
Hi, how are
Yeah.
you?
Thank you. I'm fine. Thank you so much for holding this. I do have a question because you made it. You were really rolling through these slides, but you made a point about your food shelf. You said you were serving 300 families. Can you finish that? Like, are you serving more? Are you serving less? Do you not have food? Like, I'm just
Oh,
trying to understand the need
oh my
there.
goodness. Yeah, I went through that. So the food shelf, and you guys are funders of ours. Thanks for United Way. No, it's becoming it quadrupled. So the 300 families that we're serving per week, it was just our baseline. So right now it's just quadrupled. And so it's right now what's happening is our elders and our families who are coming before. Right now, two things are happening. We have people who didn't need our food and our support, Stephanie, have left jobs. They're practically isolated at home. So that means it's more work. People who quit their jobs, people who just left their jobs, they're not applying any government system. They're practically isolated inside the home. So they're calling and we're delivering food. So it really increased it. The 300 is just the ones that come in weekly. So we're open Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Walk-ins is what we're talking about. Delivering food, it's a whole another spreadsheet. And would want to, we have a one van, so that one is sitting there, and we bought another van right now that we're gonna start using them. So the need is higher, obviously.
Thank you for that clarification.
So if no other question, but you can ask question in meantime. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. I think we have some of our speakers. You want to share your screen?
Which
Wait, I can. Mm-hmm. Yes. Is she there? Okay. I think we have Judge Lejeune, who doesn't need introduction, but amazing. Retired judge, civil rights, everything. So you want to put her up? Right. Where's that? What? Where's Judge Lejeune? Hi, Judge.
Fartoon. Good morning, everyone. I think that Fartoon, we need to applaud her vision because many communities do not understand that immigration is a years-long process. It's not a Band-Aid. It takes years to navigate, even in a positive environment. It takes years to navigate the immigration process, and there can be hiccups, adjustments, additional paperwork, other things that come along, even in the best of conditions. So creating this special response is filling a needed gap with regard to services in our state. The other thing that I want to emphasize, because I've been around a long time, I want people to understand that historic biases are repeated generationally and have to be rooted out routinely. Consider yourself for a moment to be a farmer. Have you ever heard a farmer say, I've gotten rid of all my weeds. There'll never be a weed again in my crop? And no farmer would ever say that because they understand that weeds need to be periodically removed in order to have a good crop. So people who attack the immigration process have for decades tried to bias the immigration process against people of color. So we have found imbalances throughout the history of the immigration process designed to impair and impede people of color from becoming citizens. So, of course, this was a challenge that had to be fought and dealt with during the Civil War for African American people. And we understand that this is nothing new to our country for Black and Brown people to have to fight to have the rights and due process that everyone takes for granted. So we have to equip Isuroon with the ability to stick with the process and be able to advocate and have staff available for the years that each immigration case takes. And the number of court appearances, the ability to meet people, whether they're in their home or anywhere else, is very important to keep that process working in a smooth way. Isuroon also needs additional funding to cope with the trauma and stress created by the verbal attacks and raids that this whole community that fled civil war and unrest and has had a peaceful existence in Minnesota has now changed. And so there will be additional mental health services that are needed, additional navigators to help go through the mental health services and transport people to appointments or online appointments. So there's going to be a number of demands that are put on Isuroon and Fartoon's team. The other thing that has been predicted and stated by the current administration is that they will begin what they call denaturalization. Denaturalization means that people who have come through, who are already citizens, will be forced to go through a bureaucratic interviews, be forced to come to administrative hearings and appearances, even though their status in this country is already well settled. There isn't a team of lawyers set to handle the denaturalization. So that is something else that training and staffing is required. So being proactive, meeting the current need, and then preparing and educating the community for denaturalization efforts that are also bounty based, quota based. So they will not be necessarily valid inquiries. They'll be based on quotas that offices have been given to haul in so many people a month to review their citizenship. So this is going to be another fire hose that the immigration community has not planned on or budgeted for. So money is going to be needed to train the lawyers and the navigators to deal with this situation. It's also going to mean for people who are already citizens, who are already here. It will mean lost time from work. It'll be create difficulties for everyone. So I just wanted to summarize that the current immigration efforts be able to document and represent people, and then also coordinate with the embassy in Washington, D.C. to implement the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations if there is a situation where you cannot locate someone by any other means. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Judge. You've always been there for us when the things get tougher and when you're there, so appreciate it. Stick around. Who is next, right? Jesse, Attorney Jesse, are you there?
I'm here. Yeah, I am happy to go
Okay.
next.
Good.
Yeah, so my name is Jesse Goldfarb, and I am an immigration attorney in the Twin Cities. I work for Nyland Johnson Lewis, and my main practice focuses on corporate immigration, but we're doing a lot of work just with all the raids and the increased ICE activity, just to make sure that everyone is prepared for what's happening next. I know there are some other immigration lawyers on the call, so if there's anything that I'm missing or didn't say exactly correct, and please feel free to chime in as well. I just think it's important that all the information is up to date, and it's moving so fast that I might not have access to everything that's going on currently. But just I was asked to speak just a little bit about what's happening from a legal perspective and what we're doing in the community to make sure that everyone is up to date and that we're following through on making sure that everyone has knowledge and representation moving forward as we face this as a community. I probably should say before I move on to that I am currently the vice chair of our local immigration lawyer chapter for the American Immigration Lawyers Association group, and so in that capacity, I'm also working with our local immigration lawyers to keep everyone informed, and we have a very active email listserv and communication network to make sure that all happens. So in just thinking through what's been happening over the past few weeks, it's been a whirlwind for us, and that pales in comparison to what people who in the community are facing. But it's been a whirlwind, so it's been trying to distill all the information that's been happening, and it's been a lot. But to go through, I think the first thing that we're all doing and that we're seeing is where been a huge groundswell and rapid response. There's several nonprofits in the area, including Advocates for Human Rights and Mid-Minnesota Legal Aid, and the Volunteer Lawyers Network, and I think the Immigrant Law Center in Minnesota, who have coordinated a hub rapid response or group. And so they're all working together with outside community organizations just to get more information on where ICE raids are, where ICE activities are, and making sure that people have knowledge, and that there's information and documentation and recordings taken of what's happening at those scenes, so that we know kind of where to look and how kind of and what's happening on the ground. I know there are several organizations that are doing that, so it's also just really important, I think, that we all stay in touch with each other and that we all coordinate with one another, so we have the same information and know what's happening kind of every minute. Secondly, what we're doing with immigration lawyers is across the country is we're working to track detention conditions and where the federal government is moving detained individuals. There are what we're noticing is that a lot of individuals are being detained in Minnesota, but rapidly being moved to Iowa and Nebraska and Louisiana and Texas. So we're working with with other immigration lawyers across the country to be able to stay in communication with those who are detained and make sure that they know that they have representation available. The thing that has been tough is that every detention facility has slightly different ways of or policies for communication and for how to reach individuals. And so we've been working to try and figure out the different policies at each detention center to make sure that we can get through to the individuals who need our representation. What we've been working on doing is creating a list with other immigration lawyers who have more knowledge of the individual policies to make sure that they're written down and that they're readily available for those who need the contact information. In addition to that, there's also been a groundswell in coordinating different types of litigation. I know the ACLU just filed a big lawsuit on behalf of several individuals who were harmed by ICE, mostly citizens, and so there's a civil rights case going on. There's also different litigation going on to get people out of detention and to make sure that there's more information available and that the people's cases are moving forward through the immigration process. As the judge said, immigration is usually a very long process, and the system has already been broken for a while. So making sure that we can keep that as smooth as possible is also something that's been happening throughout the past couple of weeks and even longer than that as well. We're also working on creating employer policies for dealing with potential ICE raids or ICE investigations. So we've been spending a lot of time recently just talking to different companies around the community, especially those who employ large Somali populations, just so they have an idea of how to protect employees and kind of what to do to make sure that their employees, or what messaging they can make to make sure that their employees feel safe coming to work. Additionally, we've been working just to assess individuals' cases and to make sure that individuals kind of feel secure in their status in the United States, and just knowing kind of having them or presenting information on what when individuals are safe and kind of when there's risk of what is known as removability or deportability. And just so everyone knows too, it's kind of crazy, but even those with green cards still have some risk involved in being able or in staying in the United States. Unfortunately, there are certain convictions or other activity of that nature that can lead to green cards being rescinded. So we also are kind of working on reviewing some of that and making sure that information can be disseminated further. And finally, we're also working on just planning how to move forward. It's really important that we make sure that everyone knows kind of what they need in the event of being approached by ICE. And so we want to make sure that everyone knows what documentation they should carry. And then also just working with different community members to make sure that people know or that people feel safe going out in the community, because as Fortuna said several times, what's happening is not sustainable and can lead to really long-term consequences for many different people and in our broader community. I mean, as Minnesotans, we all are, it's really important. I mean, we rely on each other, and it's important that everyone can feel safe so they can also play a role in building and bettering our community. So we're working together to make sure that we have that long-term view as well. That was definitely a very fast summary, but there's a lot going on, and I'm happy to discuss further if anyone has questions later on.
Thank you, Jess. We appreciate Neil Johnson has a long history. Amanda was our vice chair for a long, long time ago when Isuroon started. So good to see you guys back in our circle. Farah, you want to go next? We got a Farah, he's our realtor guru and has just quick update about what's happening in the housing world, even though this is immigration piece. Go ahead, Farah. Can you guys hear Farah talk? Maybe we're having some technical issues. No? Okay, we can, while we figure that out, we'll just, who is here? Is Mike Lucini or Catherine? Okay. Catherine, were you going to say something?
Sure, I'd be happy to.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi.
While we figure out the techie issue here. Go ahead.
Sure. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Catherine Allen Halverson. I'm a staff attorney at the ACLU of Minnesota, and I really appreciate the opportunity to talk with you, and really appreciate the perspective Fortuna is providing, and and that the other speakers are emphasizing around the way that we all need to collaborate. Everybody has a different role in responding, and the ACLU's role is, primarily around collaboration within the different networks in organizing, but also in our civil rights litigation. So, as Jesse mentioned, we have filed a lawsuit on behalf of protesters and observers who are trying to document the unlawful actions of ICE. And that lawsuit is moving forward. But we also are investigating the racial profiling and warrantless arrests. And we are very interested in helping people who are being harmed by the racial profiling and the kind of indiscriminate picking up of people off the street without a warrant and without probable cause, and helping to bring a lawsuit potentially to address that. And we do have an intake form now on our website. And I'd love to put that into the chat. I want to make sure I give you the correct form. And this is a great place to start in terms of reporting the abuses. And there is a team of lawyers investigating and following up. And this link goes to two forms. One is for protesters and observers to report violations, but the other form is for people who've been impacted by racial profiling and warrantless detention and stops. So I'm happy to collaborate, happy to have the opportunity to share that information, and just really appreciate everyone on this call. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine, and everyone who presented. We're just waiting two more people quickly to get us in. But one thing I want to talk about what Jess said and what you said, Catherine. I think it's the collaboration of when crisis happens, usually everyone knows how to organize. And usually where I sit on Isuroon on our team sit, it's like, how can we chase to get the people who have been there before us? And that itself is a huge gap. So we have the community, our families are coming to us, but how can, even if 20 of us are chasing these big institutions, it's exhausting to get. So what I say is like, throw us a line where we make sure there's a link between us, a strong one, that you need to do the front line of what you need to do. Usually I use a metaphor where the nomads, the stronger ones, they go and hunt and figure out where the new graces and new water are, while you leave the not so strong, or maybe people are trying to build their muscles to get in. So we have to use that metaphor. Not everyone, we have to do the fight, be the front line, but we also need to make sure there are those of us who want to bring along with the those who need the service. It's really, really hard. It becomes very competitive. It becomes very narrowly focused. I need to do my thingy. This is like where the EOS comes in, the right person, the right job. Everyone knows what to do, and then no flexibility, nothing. For us here as a team, we're like, how do we fit in? What do we need to do? And it's really, really hard. So the fact that you are all here listening, hopefully it is a good thing. Farah, are you there? You can unmute yourself, otherwise, there he is.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Go
Yes,
ahead.
I am.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you, everybody. My name is Farah Mohammed. I'm the housing advisor for Isuroon. I'm also a real estate broker, and I deal with different clients for housing issues. And I'm going to be quickly talk about how the ICE raid is and this issue affecting immigrant community. And these issues are in regard with their rental, searching for homes, and also paying their mortgage, because this is only also affected their ability to go to work. A lot of immigrants, even those who have a green card, have the same issues and fear, because there are people are saying, and rumors are saying, and some of the facts were reported that people with green card or citizens have been arrested. And this will lead, if this issue is not addressed immediately, people will lose their rental spaces, and people will lose also their homes, if they are late for the mortgage. I think this is a huge issue, because anybody who's not bringing a income to pay their rent or to pay their mortgage, it will affect it immensely, and this will lead to consequences that the people cannot be able to fix in the future. The other thing that is, I have some clients that I'm dealing with buying. Some of them may have homes under contract. They pay earnest money for that. And if they are not going to work, the question is to whether they're able to complete the transaction. And that if that happens and they are not able to complete the transaction, they will lose their earnest money. So this is really a huge disaster that many immigrants and even those who are the legal residents will face if it is not addressed as a priority, and what to do this avalanche that may come to the community. And I'm gonna leave that the rest if anyone have questions on my part as a housing advisor.
Thank you, Farah. We will have a continued sessions. The next one will be the impact of housing, and then we'll have one for the health. I see our um, licensed clinical social worker Elizabeth Shanklin is there with the red glasses. Hi, Liz. So we will be talking about what's going on. We have large Afghan refugees that we've been working with. We just got day before yesterday final termination. One of the last grants we had for the refugees. So right now 3 grants have been eliminated within a 1 year. So our Afghan families and other families, they will need other support as well. I think we have enough. Everyone have said what with the speaking. If I miss anything, this was a fast-paced information session. I think the next step would be we leave you marinate over it, see um, who wants to come in and talk to us and say what can we do. We've already formed a team that is going to be training other institutions if they need help, like how do you better do what you need to do, but also we'll be having our own rapid response, cultural responsive collaborators. We'll send the email and connection and say, if you're interested and have the capacity, please reach out to us. And then we'll do the next. Anyone, questions, comments? The floor is open. I see Randy first is there. Anyone want to say a few words? We got 7 minutes. Judge, you want to have last word?
Fartun, I want to thank you for this initiative and that we need to communication to make this collaboration work. And we need the commitment to train the lawyers from the Somali community and those who are culturally responsive to the Somali community so that there is a direct, strong link for the years to come where this process needs to be able to continue uninterrupted. So thank you for this first meeting and looking forward to more.
Thank you, Judge. And I think we have a one page that was developed. We'll send it to you. Like I said, please email us back for any questions and any feedback. Jess, you've identified a list of potential detentions that are not from Minnesota. Many of our families have been talking about their loved ones disappearing. It would probably be really good idea to have what new detention centers they're taken to our loved ones, so that at least we can give our families potential sites that maybe our loved ones have been taken to. That will be good if we can get it, and we'll email you as well. And then I'm grateful for your time. I know we're 5 minutes into it, but yeah, please reach out and we'll do the same. And happy holiday if I don't hear you or see you. Also, we say Happy New Year. Thank you so much. I'll be around next 5 minutes if you want to stick around. Otherwise, have a nice day. Happy holiday.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Bye,
much.
Josh. Love you. Bye.
I can stand too. I just wanted to thank you for organizing, and we'll definitely be in touch. I can provide that list.
Please
Uh,
do.
it's not fully formed, but I can get what we I can reach out to the team that's preparing it and see what they have, and
Yeah, and then just
whatever we can.
we'll send some information, see who wants to be in person, then we can get our families here and do coordinating
Perfect.
way of delivering like fast, at least created a model because I'm not sure if our community right now have been here for years are under attack. I think this is a model that's going to continue to
Hmm.
some other communities that have not had to do rapid response like the Latino communities are. So this will be a model that we need to do to make sure that it becomes something that can be replicated by other communities. So it's
Yeah.
not only for the Somalis. I think he was talking about the Sudanese or the Oromos. He's just attacking any Black gene,
Mm.
immigrant refugees. So we want to make sure that we develop a model that is culturally responsive. So Isuroon does the hard work. Everybody takes the easy way, but we do hard work.
It's important
It's
work
just
though, so we
we
appreciate
don't take the
you.
yeah, we don't do the shortcuts, unfortunately, for us, but we appreciate your time and let me know or let us know what schedule you have, and then we can organize some of our families to be here.
Perfect. That sounds great.
All right. Yeah. Have a new year if I don't see you.
Yeah, thanks you as well.
See you. Bye. Hey, team, thanks. I'll see you the potluck. We got a potluck today. Bye. I'm out.